Greetings, my dear friends. Today, I'm going to tell you 10 incredible stories that will give you chills from the very first seconds. I would be absolutely thrilled if you enjoy this video. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions are the best motivation for me to keep bringing you the most terrifying and thrilling stories. I've always been a skeptic. Ghosts, the paranormal, houses with a past, all that sounded like bedtime stories for the overly imaginative. Until I rented an apartment in a building that had a room that didn't exist on the floor plan. The move was rushed. My old place got flooded by the neighbors, and I was desperate to find anything suitable. I found a listing, a Soviet-era one-bedroom flat, cheap, no agent. The landlady, an old woman with a stone-cold face, quickly handed me the keys and said only one thing. Don't open the door on the left in the hallway. It's a storage room, but the lock's broken. Draft gets in, might make you think someone's there. It sounded strange, but I nodded. Who was I to argue? The apartment was decent, a bit dusty, but had character. High ceilings, old furniture. But that left side door in the hallway, it looked different, darker, like it had faded. And the handle, unnaturally cold, like metal left in a freezer. At first I ignored it, went about my business, settled in. But on the third night I woke up to find the door slightly ajar. A draft? Maybe. But I distinctly remembered latching it shut. I had checked. There was a cold breeze from inside. I stepped closer, peeked in. Darkness. Thick, like fabric. I turned off the hallway light and saw a faint, pulsing crimson glow coming from inside, as if from deep below. Faint. Alive. I slammed the door shut and pushed a dresser in front of it. Told myself I was just overtired, but that's when the sounds began. At night, someone scratched at the door. Not claws, fingernails, judging by the grating sound. Then, quiet breathing. And one night, I heard someone whisper my name. Very softly, almost gently. I started sleeping with the lights on, and a knife under my pillow. I called the landlady, asked her straight out about the room. She hung up, so I went digging. Old blueprints of the building. And you know what? On the 1956 plan, that room wasn't there, just a wall. But on the 1974 plan, it's there. No label, no number. Just a space. Not marked residential or technical. Just void. I set up a camera, night vision, pointed it at the door, woke up and checked the footage. The video showed the door slowly opening by itself. A man stood in the doorway, his back to me. Only, his skin was pitch black, like coal. And in the mirror's reflection, you could see he had no face. He stood there, for a long time, motionless, then suddenly turned to the camera, and the lights went out. That's where the footage ends. I moved out 3 days later, and ever since, I check every night if all doors are locked. Because sometimes, I hear someone scratching from inside the wardrobe. I'd been driving for 8 hours straight. The road was monotonous, endless. Night. Headlights caught only fragments of asphalt. The rest was pure blackness. I needed to get to my hometown, fast. The GPS stubbornly guided me through back roads, past private homes and muddy tracks. As I turned off the highway, the fuel warning light came on. I slowed down and stopped by a lone bus stop. Or rather, what was left of it. A rusted frame, peeling posters, a warped bench. And behind it, crosses. I didn't notice right away, but the stop was right beside a cemetery. Why? Who would get off here? I turned on the hazard lights and stepped out to stretch. The sky was overcast, the moon dim through thick clouds. The air, damp. The ground, soft. Someone was sitting on the bench. It startled me. I jumped. A man, thin, hunched, hooded, staring at the ground. "Excuse me, are you okay?" He didn't answer, just tilted his head slowly. I was already turning to get back in the car when he spoke. "Don't stay here too long. They might think you're one of them." "One of who?" "Those who stayed, who didn't catch the last bus." He looked at me, his eyes were white, no pupils. "You didn't see it, did you?" he continued. "The bus, the last one. It only comes at night. only for those who aren't supposed to leave. A chill ran down my spine. I turned and walked toward my car, but the car was gone. I swear, I blinked, and it was just gone. Empty road, me, the man, the bench, no tire marks, no lights, no sound. I spun in place. Am I going insane? If you heard the voice, he said again, then you're already at the station. What voice? He fell silent, and that's when I heard it. From behind, a deep, muffled horn, like a bus, underwater. Through the trees, deep in the cemetery, a faint glow appeared. It was moving toward us. I ran, straight into the forest, tripping, falling, running again. The lights crept after me, slowly, steadily. I could hear leaves crunching nearby, like someone was walking beside me, unseen. I reached the highway, and right in front of me, a car screeched to a stop. My car, lights on, engine running, as if it had never left. I jumped in, started it, and drove. Didn't stop until morning. The next day, I went back. The stop was there. The bench, empty. And behind it, no cemetery. Nothing. Just an open field. I found an old map. There was a cemetery there, but it was shut down and flattened in 1982, after a busload of passengers vanished. The street I lived on was quiet and old. Mostly Soviet-era brick houses from the 1950s. The neighbors were mostly elderly. It was a safe area. Until the lights went out in the house across the street. At first, I thought they had left. The family was odd. Elderly father, adult daughter, an old woman in a wheelchair. I rarely saw them. They never said hello. And then one day, the lights simply went out. And stayed that way. I noticed the windows had changed. They looked cloudy, as if someone had smeared soot over them from the inside. A week passed, then 2. The mailman started leaving letters in the gate slot. No one shoveled the snow. Spiderwebs on the gate. But the worst part, movement in the windows at night. I got up at 3 a.m., couldn't sleep. Looked out the window and saw someone standing behind the hazy glass, just staring, directly at my house. I looked away, blinked, looked again, no one. I told myself I imagined it, but every night, the same thing. Sometimes a silhouette on the second floor, sometimes something shifting behind the curtain. Once, I saw a very clear reflection of my own window in their glass. Only in that reflection, someone was standing behind me. I started filming with my phone, set up the camera by the window, but the footage showed nothing, just blackness. No shapes, no faces, nothing. Even though I swear I saw it with my own eyes. On the 3rd day, I decided to go there. During the day, I crossed the street and peeked over the fence. The house looked dead. Trees in the yard were dried out, windows like the eyes of a corpse. Then I turned and saw the front door slightly open. I don't know why I did it, I just went in. The silence inside felt unnatural. Not just empty, like something was watching. I walked deeper. The floorboards creaked. The air smelled like mildew. Old black and white photographs lined the walls. And in one, I saw my street, but with cars clearly from the 1970s. Then I heard footsteps upstairs, slow, heavy, as if someone very old was walking in felt boots. I didn't run. I froze. And then a framed photo fell from the top floor, landed at my feet. I picked it up. It was a photo of me, standing by my window. Only, it was old. Yellowed, like from an archive. I ran out. Since then, I haven't gone near that house. A week ago, it disappeared, literally. I woke up one morning, and it was just gone. An empty lot, flat ground, as if nothing had ever been there. And yesterday, someone left a plastic bag at my door. Inside, that same photo. On the back, handwritten words, "You were a good neighbor. We'll see you again." My grandfather was named Timofey Ivanovich. He lived his whole life in a remote village. No signal, roads snowed in, and frequent power outages. When he died, I inherited his house. Small, wooden, creaky. One weekend, I went there alone. I arrived during the day. Everything looked normal. Quiet, birds chirping, scent of wet earth. But at the gate sat an old woman, thin, draped in black, her face wrinkled like dry bark. "You're late," she said. "We don't answer calls at night around here." I wanted to ask what she meant, but she had already shuffled off, barely moving. Inside, the house was just as I remembered. Old samovar, icons on the wall, Grandpa's coat still hanging. I lit the stove, made some tea, and went to bed early. It got dark fast, and at night, pitch black like a well. I woke up to tapping, soft. At first once, then again, like pebbles against glass. I sat up, silence inside the house. The tapping repeated. I walked to the window. Outside, a figure stood. I couldn't see the face, just the outline standing right at the fence. I squinted. He raised his hand and waved at me. Then I heard a voice, but not from outside, from right behind me. "It's me. Open up, it's Grandpa." I froze. The voice was exactly like Grandpa's, only Grandpa was dead. I buried him. I saw the body. "Well, open the door, I'm freezing." The voice turned irritable. I stepped back, approached the door, put a stool in front, locked it, but the voice kept calling. And what's strange, no dogs barking, no footsteps, no sounds at the door. Just that voice, warm, familiar, and at the same time, wrong. I sat on the floor until sunrise. In the morning, nothing. No one outside. Fresh snow, no footprints. Later, an old neighbor stopped by. "Whatever you do, don't open the door at night," he said. "What if it's someone I know?" I asked. He looked at me like I was a child. "They can speak in any voice, even yours." I left that same day, haven't gone back since. But recently, I heard tapping on my window. I live in the city, 5th floor. No balcony, no ledge. And when I looked out, someone waved at me. And behind me I heard my own voice. "Open up, it's me, I'm just cold." My friends and I decided to go camping. Simple plan. A weekend in nature, beer by the fire, retelling old school ghost stories. 6 of us ended up going. 2 cars, tents, food, a guitar. I picked the spot. Found a mention of an old pioneer camp called La Stochka that shut down in the 90s. It was deep in the woods, away from any tourist trails. On the map, just a blank patch. Perfect. We arrived during the day. Everything looked creepy in a cool way. Crumbling buildings, peeling signs, an overgrown stadium. Perfect post-apocalypse aesthetic. We set up near the dining hall. It was mostly intact. Lit a fire, had dinner, started chatting. Of course, someone suggested scary stories. And Sasha, the most easily spooked among us, said, "Do you know what happened here? Don't scare us." They say, back in 91, a whole group vanished. 12 kids, just gone. Their counselor left them for an overnight campout, and in the morning, none of them woke up. All they found were strange tracks, and weird toys no one remembered bringing. We laughed. Typical campfire nonsense. Then we all went to our tents. I woke up to laughter, like children playing nearby. The clock said 2:14 a.m. I peeked out. The woods were empty. Just fog creeping along the ground. And then, a group of children emerged from the trees, wearing old Soviet pioneer uniforms, walking in pairs, silent, calm. Their faces, white, paper white. I froze. They walked right past the fire, right past the tents. No one stirred, like I was the only one who could see them. I wanted to scream but couldn't. One of them, a boy with a drum, locked eyes with me and held a finger to his lips. Shh. I blinked. They were gone. In the morning, I told everyone. They laughed, said I was overheated or had a nightmare. But then Sasha found a plastic medal. Best Pioneer. It looked new. And worse, someone had scratched something into the back. We're not all gone yet. By evening, 2 of us felt ill. One had a fever, the other, hallucinations. We decided to leave, packed in a hurry. As we got in the car, I took one last look at the camp. In the second building's window, the children stood in a row, staring, unmoving. And the boy with the drum, he smiled. We reached the city in 2 hours, even though the trip should have taken at least 3. No one talks about that weekend anymore. But recently, someone posted a photo in our group chat. No one admits sending it. It shows us sitting around the campfire, and in the shadows behind us, the same children are standing. It happened in winter. I stayed late at work. The subway had stopped running, and I needed to cross the main avenue. Just another evening. Nothing weird. Snow, a few cars, crunching footsteps. The underpass was old, grimy, with that damp smell and flickering lights. I'd used it hundreds of times, but that night, as I stepped down, I felt something was wrong. The passage was too quiet, not even an echo, as if the air had been muffled, thick, Usually the walls were covered in posters, graffiti, trash, but now they were bare, spotless. And the lights. They had this yellow-green tint, like from an old film. Unnatural. I figured I was just tired, walked faster, but the tunnel was longer than usual, much longer. I didn't remember there being a turn. I took it and found another corridor, then another, then a staircase going down. But this was a one-level passage. I knew that. I decided to turn back, but I couldn't remember which way I'd come. Every turn now looked the same. Each step felt like repeating the last. Then I started hearing footsteps, not mine. Heavy, dry, somewhere behind. I turned. Nothing. But the light flickered. And now there was writing on the wall. Bright red. Fresh. You're one of them now. I ran, turning corners blindly, grabbing walls, searching for a way out. Then I saw him. A man, tall, standing with his back to me at the end of the hallway, holding a large umbrella, still, motionless. Hey, can you... He turned. He had no face, no mouth, no eyes, just skin stretched tight like a sack. I screamed, ran the other way, and saw a staircase. Upward. I bolted up. A door. Light. Fresh air. I burst outside, turned around, but it wasn't my city. The buildings were taller. The signs, in a strange language. The cars, not quite right. Like from a different time. That was 3 years ago. I never found my way back. Now every night I stand in the underpass, at a crossroad, listening to footsteps. Others come too, some with earbuds, some staring at phones. They never notice, until it's too late. I don't run anymore. I just wait. I'm a regular forum user. Reddit, image boards. Sometimes I browse creepypasta threads. It's all entertainment to me. Until one night, I found a post that kept deleting itself. I'd refresh. It was gone. But if I typed the URL manually, it came back. The thread was titled, "Who Are You Now?" Just one post. No avatar, no username, just this. You're here. You've already chosen. You will be called 3 times. Only answer the second. I thought, nice concept. Some ARG or puzzle. I replied, and who's supposed to call me? Waited. A minute later, a new comment. Not mine, not anyone else's. Just, first call. I replied again, fine, give me the second. 3 seconds later, that was the third, and nothing else. I figured it was a bug, or someone messing around. But then I noticed my cursor started moving by itself. It moved to the input field and began typing. You answered. We're close. My chest turned cold. I shut the laptop, put it in the other room, sat on the bed, trying to shake it off. An hour later, the screen turned on by itself. The same forum was open, but now the background was black. The text, red. On the screen was a photo of me. Only I didn't remember anyone taking it. I was sitting on my bed, exactly as I was. Above the photo, it said, "Now you are the thread," a sound, an email notification. Sender. Subject line, "Who are you?" Now, the body of the message, a list of names, and I was at the very top. I deleted everything, wiped my computer, changed my email. Nothing helped. The next day, a new chat appeared on my phone, no name. One participant, avatar, me, sleeping. At night, a message came, just one word, call. Now, every night I hear a ringing. Not from my phone, from inside my head. First one, then 2. I'm holding out, not answering, because I know the third already came. And if I answer again, I'll become something else. I worked as a courier. Simple job. Pick up, drop off, collect tips. Everything changed after one strange delivery. Late evening. I was wrapping up when the app pushed a new order. Urgent. No cancellations. Address, an old building on the outskirts. Floor, 13. But when I arrived, I saw the building only had 12 floors. Old Soviet-style panel house, peeling walls, one entrance, elevator panel marked up to floor 12. I figured it was a mistake. But when the elevator arrived and the doors opened, there was an extra button, unlabeled, dark gray. I pressed it. The elevator moved past 12, didn't stop. When the doors opened, I wasn't in the same building. The hallway was dark, wooden floorboards, walls covered in old yellowing wallpaper. It smelled like wax and smoke. No other doors, just one at the very end. I walked over, knocked. An old woman opened, white braids, blank eyes. "You're late," she said. "They're already gathered." She took the package and nodded inward. "Coming in?" No thanks, I just need a signature. There's no signing here, she said, only staying. I backed away, turned and ran toward the elevator, pressed the button. Behind me, rustling. I glanced back. People were emerging from the shadows, silent, all in black, faces waxy. One of them was holding my backpack. I got into the elevator and mashed all the buttons. Doors closed, lights flickered, it stopped on the ground floor. When I stepped out, it was morning, and my backpack was back on my shoulders. I looked back at the building. Everything looked normal, but the unlabeled button was gone. I told a friend who works in IT. He pulled up the app logs. No record of the delivery. Address doesn't exist. But yesterday, I got a new order. Urgent, no cancellations, same address. This time, the client is waiting by the door. I work as a night guard in a shopping mall. Simple shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Walk the building, check cameras, drink tea, watch YouTube. Pays low, but it's calm. Until that one shift. That night felt off. Usually there's background noise, hums from fridges, flickering lights. But that night, total silence. The cameras showed nothing unusual. Except at 1:17 a.m., I saw movement in the toy section. I rewound. On the recording, empty. But on the live feed, a figure between the shelves. Blurry, like static. I figured it was a glitch. Went to check. Got to the toy aisle. No one there. But one of the musical dolls was playing by itself. It had no batteries. I opened the back, completely empty. Back in the control room, I noticed the camera timestamps now read 00 and Moore, all of them. I checked my watch, 2:05 a.m. Glitch? Then I saw him, on the service entrance camera. A figure, tall, dressed in black, standing still, face hidden. But I felt him looking straight into the camera. I grabbed the radio. Anyone on site? Respond. Static. Then a reply, in my own voice. I'm already inside. I turned off the radio. Looked again. He was gone. But now, in the kid's zone camera, someone was on the swing. I went there. The swing was moving, even though the air was completely still. No breeze, no draft. I got closer and saw one of the dolls facing me, only it had no eyes. Burnt holes, the smell of smoke. I rushed back to the monitors, and every screen now showed the same image. Me, sitting in the chair, just like now. I looked around. No one in the room. But one of the monitors started pulsing. A message appeared. You stay. Since then, I haven't left. At first, I thought I was just going mad. Living in the security room, getting used to it. But now, whenever I try to leave, the doors lead nowhere. One opens into the same hallway, another into darkness. Once I did get out. But outside wasn't my city. Signs in a strange language. Buildings warped. People. Faceless. Now I just sit. Watch the feeds. On every screen, me. From different angles. And when a new night guard arrives for their first shift, I hear the system whisper, "Now it's you." When I was 9, I accidentally walked into a stranger's funeral. My mom was walking me home. We passed an old church, and I saw the open door, candlelight, and a coffin. People in black surrounded it, faces hidden under scarves. Something pulled me inside. I approached the coffin. The face of the deceased was covered in wax. Not just hidden, sealed, like someone wanted to erase it. As I stared, a woman leaned down and whispered, "You must say goodbye when you can. Later, it's too late." I ran. Years passed, I forgot. But at 30, I started seeing her again. That same woman. At first in crowds, then in window reflections. Then, in my sister's wedding video. She was always looking straight at the camera. No one else noticed her. I started noticing other things. Photos on my phone, with strangers in them. Voices in my headphones. Sentences I didn't remember in the songs. One morning I woke up to find words scratched on my wall. 7 left. I thought it was a prank. Wiped the wall. Next day, a new number. Thy. Every night, a new count. When it reached 3, my cat disappeared. Gone. No trace. At 2, every electronic device in my home broke, all at once. At 1, I dreamed of that coffin again. Only this time I was inside, my face covered in wax. I woke up in a cold sweat. On the ceiling, scratched in. I took time off, left the city, rented a house in a remote village. No signal, no noise, pure peace. But last night, someone knocked at the door. I looked out. She was standing on the porch, old, in a scarf, holding a candle. "Say goodbye," she said. "You missed your chance last time." And I realized, it's not me saying goodbye to the world. The world is saying goodbye to me. Today I woke up again. Everything seems normal, except in the mirror. My reflection is smiling. even though I'm not. If you're reading this, watch your walls. If numbers appear, don't wait for 0. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep delighting you every day with new horror tales. See you tomorrow.